look at the 2023 season. And so I've got the schedule right here for us. So this is our way too early 2023 predictions. We'll take it game by game. First game of the year, neutral site game in Nashville against Virginia. I mean, can we both agree this is going to be a win?
Boat race.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be a win.
Hang 50 on them.
And, obviously Virginia that's come, they didn't even finish this season because of the tragedy that happened on their campus. So obviously we hope that they're recovering well from that mentally and emotionally. But that game, I would pick Tennessee in that game.
Yep.
Austin Peay.
I would love for Austin Peay to survive that without significant injury or death.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah, I think we can agree that's going to be a Tennessee win there.
Yeah.
Third week of the season, we're going to Gainesville. So, my humble opinion, any other year, well, I mean, I'm still obviously, concerned about it, but any other year I would be more concerned than I would be this. Florida's in shambles right now. I know they just pulled in a top 10 recruiting class. I get that.
Still freshman.
Exactly. And who's going to be their quarterback?
Right.
I mean, I think the kid from Wisconsin just transferred down there.
Yep.
I mean,
Graham Mertz.
I mean, if there was a year where Tennessee should walk into Gainesville and dominate with no question about who's the better team, it should be 2023.
Yeah.
And so, in my opinion,
what's amazing is what Tennessee has always struggled with Florida with is a mobile quarterback. So Billy Napier went out and signed the most immobile quarterback he could possibly find. So not concerned about that one. I'm actually more concerned about the next week than that one.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say that. UTSA they're good. Like they're legit.
They're very good.
I'm assuming he'll be back next year. If he's not, I guess I'll have another guy to replace him. But their quarterback this year is extremely mobile. Really good quarterback.
That's a massive trap game. When you've got a team the caliber of UTSA who wins 9-10 games every year, sandwiched in between Florida and South Carolina.
Yep.
That has trap game written all over it.
You're exactly right. Because after this year, all eyes are going to be looking at that September 30th game against Carolina. I totally agree. That's a major trap game. I think Tennessee escapes it, but man, I
do too.
I think it'll be a lot.
I think it'll be a lot closer than people are comfortable with.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. All right. So the next week,
we're going to don a bunch of pit vipers. We're going to play that thing at 7:00 at night, and we're going to hang 80 on his sorry tail.
Yeah, that's going to be
Shane Beamer. Run that score up as high as it can possibly go.
Yeah, that one I would not want to be a South Carolina Gamecock player or fan that night. You want to talk about a game circled on the calendar? Well, that's it right there, buddy. That is it. That one, that's not going to be pretty. Yeah, as competitive as Josh Heupel is, that's one thing about him as a coach, man. That he is a competitor, and
he keeps receipts.
That game is going to be on his radar. And that game's going to be on the radar of every single one of the 101-915 that walk into Neyland Stadium that night too. It's going to be loud. That is going to be an awesome game. Awesome atmosphere. So we have a bye week after South Carolina. There's a bye week. And then we host Texas A&M. In my opinion, if there was ever a year to host Texas A&M, after a bye week, it's going to be 2023. That sets up beautifully for Tennessee, in my opinion.
Yeah. If there's anybody that's more of a dumpster fire than Florida, it's A&M.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're scrambling. They are scrambling right now. And so that's going to be a primetime win, in my opinion, for Tennessee. Yep. I bet that game will be under the lights. That's going to be a rowdy stadium. It's going to be That's going to be a big win for Tennessee. Going into Tuscaloosa. So, in my opinion, I think this will be Tennessee's first loss of the season. It's hard going into Tuscaloosa to win anyway, but especially when you just beat them this year. I mean, like, you know how we got South Carolina circled on our calendar? Well, they're going to have Tennessee circled on their calendar. And I think it'll be an extremely close game, but I think Alabama is going to pull it out, assuming they can,
So
get
we
their quarterback
disagree on this
situation
one.
straightened out.
So we disagree on this one. Ole Miss under Hugh Freeze gave Nick Saban fits, running an up-tempo, no huddle, Art Briles based system.
Yep.
Ole Miss under Lane Kiffin, not this year, but in prior years, gave Nick Saban fits. Why? Jeff Lebby was calling plays, running Art Briles' system. The exact system that Josh Heupel has taken and made even better. And I think we are Nick Saban's
Kryptonite.
Kryptonite. Yeah, I think he struggles to figure out how to slow this down. And what makes him great is his ability to change up defensive looks, bring different looks. When you're going fast, you don't get that benefit. You don't get that luxury. And it's why Jalen Hyatt had 5 touchdowns. I honestly, Bama's going to go through a bunch of coaching changes. They're going to have a new offensive coordinator. They're going to have a quarterback controversy on their hands. I'm honestly, I think we win this thing. I think it'll be close, but I think we're the favorite going into this game.
Yeah, you're right. There will definitely be a quarterback controversy in Tuscaloosa next year. There's no doubt about that. So any Bama fan that thinks there's not going to be, no, there's going to be.
Whoever gets the OC job, that's going to say a lot about what direction they're leaning, because the two quarterbacks they're going to be fighting for that job are not comparable. They are two very different players.
You're very right. Absolutely. Well, the next week after Bama, we go to Lexington. I think Kentucky's going to take a major step back next year. They're losing, the number 1 overall quarterback in the draft apparently, and so they're going to take a major step back. I think we go in there and we hand it to them again.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay. They'll look different. Their running back depth is going to be awful. But
sure.
they did get Devin Leary. He's transferring to North Carolina State. And if they can convince Liam Cohen for sure to come be their OC again, Liam Cohen's a great play caller, and he will scheme up things to make Devin Leary good. Look at Will Levis under Liam Cohen versus Will Levis this year. So I don't think we're gonna have any issue beating them. I think it's gonna be, I think we're back to normal. Kentucky's always going to be a win. But I think Liam Cohen will find ways to keep them in the game.
Well, the week after that, we got the mighty Huskies of Connecticut.
Yeah, that's a win.
Yeah, we'll just keep on going. So at this point, I'm saying, how many games we got so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So at this point, I'm saying we're 8-1. You're saying we're 9-0. If they're 9-0 at this point, they're at least at the worst number 2 in the country behind Georgia.
Yep.
Because I'm assuming at this point Georgia would be number 1 in the country, but who knows? I mean, crazy stuff happens. So then we go to Missouri. It'll be cold because it's going to be November in Columbia, Missouri. It'll be freezing cold. What do you think happens there?
Josh Heupel very much knows Missouri. He knows how to call against them. He has their number. He has always had their number. I don't think it matters if we play this thing in South Dakota. We're 40 points better.
So one of the plays that was almost in my top 5 plays of the season for this year was against Missouri this year. There was a 4th down play, and it was still a close game. It was only a 1-score game at the time, and we were on the Missouri 45-yard line. and Hendon Hooker hit Jalen Hyatt on a quick slant, and the throw was a little bit high, and Hyatt made an incredible catch and caught the ball, and they extended that drive. We ended up scoring. That was a huge, excuse me, that was a huge momentum shifting play in that game.
Yeah.
That was almost in my top 5 for this year. I think this one's going to be close. I think that, I mean, close is a relative term. I think we'll probably win by like, 14 or 17 points, but closer than it has been with Missouri. I'll put it that way. Definitely not a 56-point blowout or something like it was this year, but I think that, the cold might get to them a little bit. They're not Elsa. The cold might bother them anyway. But I think it'll be closer than this year. I'll put it that way. But I do think they win, which sets up. Look at this. Talk about an incredible last 2 games of the season. Obviously, this year we played our last 2 games of the season away from home. Next year we get to host our last 2 games of the season, one of which is the Georgia Bulldogs the week after Missouri. So what do you think happens with Georgia?
It'll be all eyes. It'll be number 1 versus number 2. Both will be undefeated. It'll be the CBS 3:30 game or whoever has it next year.
ABC next year.
Yeah, ABC 3:30 game. It's going to be hard to get used to saying that.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm a big Todd Monken fan. I think he's a fantastic play caller. I think he does a really good job getting his playmakers the ball. Georgia's going to have a lot of turnover to sort through.
Yes, they are.
They're going to have.
Of course, they did this year too.
They're going to have a quarterback controversy early in the year. By this game, it'll be sorted out. Their starter will be identified. So
they hope.
I think it's kind of like with Alabama. Until we beat them, I have a hard time picking against them. So I had us finishing 11-1 next year. I think this is our sole loss. Honestly, at this point in the season, I hate that it's this late because we could have a Ohio State-Michigan scenario on our hands from this year.
That's a great point. I hadn't thought about that. That's a great point.
So I hope it's really, really close so that the committee doesn't botch this and take us out of the top 4. Because I think we're going to be one of the top 4 teams in the country next year.
Yep. So I too have us going 11-1 next year because we're beating them Bulldogs, baby. That's my big one for next year. Just like South Carolina circled on we get them.
So you all heard it here first. Evan is an Alabama fan.
Now, just like we got South Carolina circled on that calendar, we got Georgia circled on that calendar next year too, coming to Neyland. Oh my goodness, can you imagine the scene that game will be? Woo, that's going to be a good one, and we're going to beat them. Like that's my upset special for next year. Georgia, Brand, they'll be having a new quarterback. I don't know, there's something about it, like you look at games and you just get this feeling like that's going to be different. Well, that's going to be different. We're taking that one. I'm calling my shot now. Hey, I nailed it this year. I said we'd be 10-2 and in a New Year's Six bowl. I nailed it. So that's my shot for next year. We're 11-1 and we're beating Georgia at home. That's my shot. I'm pumped about that one. Obviously we both said we're going 11-1, so we both have wins over Vandy. But my goodness, talk about a trap game. If they beat Georgia and they're sitting at 10-1 or 11-0 at that point, depending on if they win or lose against Bama, that could be a major trap game because at that point they are going to Atlanta for the SEC championship if they win that game. There would be no doubt.
I don't think it matters. Vanderbilt's top 2 playmakers on offense and their leading tackler are all in the portal. Actually, the leading tackler's already gone to Auburn. I'm not concerned about Vandy at all next year. I think Vandy's actually going to drop significantly. And I think
they're working on becoming the best team in the country at SEC Media Days this year.
Yeah, I hope they don't do random drug testing at Vanderbilt either.
Yeah.
He's delusional. When your starting running back, who was your primary threat, is no longer on campus and you have nobody behind him, and
Yeah.
your top receiver is no longer on campus and you have nobody behind him, and your absolute best player on defense is now at Auburn, no. There's nobody on that depth chart that's going to replace that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think Tennessee's going to win that one too, but I think that one might end up being a little bit closer. But you got to understand there's also going to be a whole lot of emotions going on that night. Senior night, that's going to be senior night for a bunch of important people.
Sure.
Our offensive line, hey, I'm telling you what, if we want to make a run at the playoff, it needs to be in 2023 because 2024, we're going to have a brand new offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Four of our 5 offensive line starters from this year are returning. The only one that's not is Darnell Wright. And they've, gone to the portal and got the kid from Texas. And he's going to probably fill in that spot. So this is a big year. 2023 is a big year for Tennessee football. If they want to make a run at the playoff, it needs to be in 2023 because the way the schedule sets up for them, Florida is going to be down. Texas A&M is going to be down. They get Texas A&M at home. South Carolina, they get them at home. Kentucky's going to be down. Vanderbilt's going to be down. And they get Georgia at home.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was ever a year for them to make it to Atlanta, it's 2023. Like they got to make a run in 2023.
Honestly, I kind of hope we lose a close game to Georgia so we don't have to go to Atlanta. Because the West is going to be really good, or the top 3 in the West are going to be really good next year. And Atlanta could be a problem for the playoffs. I would rather be 11-1, be sitting at number 3 nationally, and not have to worry about Atlanta messing up our playoff chances.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, y'all heard it here first. Tennessee goes 11-1 in 2023. Both of us are predicting that 11-1. Hey, text a buddy, man. We would so appreciate it if you tell people about the Vol Bros. You can find us at the Vol Bros on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Share our podcast with folks. We love it if you subscribe to our channel. We would really appreciate that. Click that notification bell so you'll always know when we're about to go live. We're gonna keep having fun doing this. We love it.